What is going on, guys, and welcome to another video. Now in this video I kind of want to talk about The Last of Us Part 2. And I'm going to try and keep it short, going to try and keep it brief. We'll see where it goes, but ultimately I'm going to talk about why I am still going to buy The Last of Us Part 2 and why I am still excited for the game. Now there's been a lot of issues around Naughty Dog. We're not going to lie. I'm not going to sit here and lie about it. There's been a lot of issues, with the leaked footage, which I'm not going to talk about. I haven't watched it myself. I advise you don't watch it, or read about it, or do anything to do with it, because it'll just ruin your experience of the game. But nonetheless, whatever's happened, we don't know who's leaked it. Blah 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 blah. But what it has done is it's shed light on the Naughty Dog's employees' welfare and how they aren't treating their employees very well. And I think this spans across all of big gaming companies. It'll apply to things like EA and Ubisoft and things like that. And it's a bit of a shame, and it's really just sort of brought into light this whole crunch culture situation that gaming industry is in, where we have game developers who are working 60 to 80 hour weeks, crunching really hard to meet deadline after deadline after deadline, getting promised things like they're getting paid very little and being given bonuses based on how well the game does, which means that they're spending years on with very little money to live off. Generally it doesn't sound like it's actually a good industry to work in at all, and that's come from someone who I personally wanted to be a game developer when I was younger, and I'm I'm very glad that I'm not one now, because it just doesn't sound appealing to me now after knowing how tough it really is. And it's a bit of a shame, and it's basically there's all this stigma now around The Last of Us, because The Last of Us is a centerpiece of this drama with Naughty Dog. And it makes us think about us as gamers, and well, I've heard someone say to me recently that gamers are very self-entitled. They're very entitled, and they want games now and they want them ASAP. And that made me do a little bit of reflecting, and to be honest, I'm happy waiting for games. Yeah, I was disappointed when I found out The Last of Us was delayed, as many of us were. However, I wasn't that disappointed. I'm very excited for this game. It's the first game I've pre-ordered in over 2 years. But I'm okay with waiting. I understand the process takes a long time, and I want it to be perfect. There's nothing worse than the games getting released that are broken. Look at Anthem, Sea of Thieves, whatever that game was called. Those games were broken. They were basically access games. They were terrible. I'm against that sort of model of releasing bare-bone games that aren't finished. I want a game that's complete. It is one product that does not need any work done on it. But it made us think, game developers are under a lot of pressure to make these games and make these deadlines, and I think a lot of them, the bigger companies, are setting unrealistic expectations for their games' work completion times. I mean, if we span back a couple of years and we look at Assassin's Creed has been, I think what you will of it now, but it had a really hard time, from like say 2013 to 2016, where it was just making terrible game after terrible game. Assassin's Creed, I wasn't a big fan of Black Flag, but they made Black Flag and Rogue, they made Unity, they made Syndicate within like 4 years of each other. And Syndicate got received terribly, so did Unity. I thought Unity was okay, but ultimately it's they were making a game every year, so they probably had 2 teams, maybe taking 2 to 3 years to make a game, which we know just isn't long enough to make a AAA game. That AAA game, in my opinion, it's going to take you at least 4 years to make a really good AAA game. So we kind of know that that's what happened with Ubisoft and Assassin's Creed. They were just rushing them out too much, and the games really suffered, and they became terrible. And we don't want games to be rushed, and we don't want game developers to be rushing these games, because it affects everything. It affects the quality of the game, it affects for us as consumers, it affects the quality of life for the people making the games. We all suffer. So as gamers, we have to understand that games take a while to make. They are pieces of art that take years to make. But anyway, that's a bit of a ramblings of a madman. But really, I'm still excited for Last of Us. Okay, Part 2. The Last of Us, Part 1 we'll have to call it now, was probably my favourite game of all time. It's one of the best games. It's definitely my top 3 games of all time. I'm not going to let this issue ruin The Last of Us Part 2 for me. I've been waiting 7 years for this release of this game, as many of us have, as you probably have if you're watching this video. It's okay to be excited. I understand there's a lot of issues, and I know the YouTubers are all going against it because I've had loads of accounts banned, which is why I'm not talking about the leak, because I don't want to have my account banned. I'm just talking about the fact that I'm still excited for The Last of Us. Has it soured my expectations a little bit? There's been all this drama around it, and bringing to light what's been going on in the actual game industry. It's a bit of a shame, but it is what it is. It needs to get better. I'm not in a position to make it better. I think maybe hopefully this light being shed will maybe force the big gaming industries to maybe make change. I don't think it will. but that's me being hopeful. But being a realist, it won't. But that doesn't change the fact that The Last of Us is still going to be a great game. Now that brings me on to the story trailer. Briefly, what did I think? It looks like it's sort of like a revenge storyline, which I'm not massively on board with. However, I have faith in Naughty Dog. Last of Us, when it came out, no one was expecting it to be what it was, and it was amazing. The storyline was brilliantly done. So I'm going to go in with an open mind, without a doubt. I'm going to go in and just expect, to be honest, I'm going to expect a masterpiece because The Last of Us was. I'll be disappointed if I get anything less. The gameplay is going to be out of this world. There's no debate there. The gameplay is going to be, leagues above Last of Us, which in my opinion was probably one of the best made games of all time, including, combat was exceptional. No games come close to the combat The Last of Us did, which I think is insane to think of how good it was, and no one's tried to even imitate it. But, that's besides the point. So, maybe the storyline might be hit and miss, but I'm going to just, like I said, put my faith in Naughty Dog. I am excited for this game. And that's basically my final thoughts, guys. I want to know what you all think. I know it's a bit hit and miss. I know Naughty Dog have obviously disabled the likes and comments on the trailers they've released and stuff like that because they just don't want to get any negative press. But, I'm not saying I'm the greatest fan of Naughty Dog at the minute, but I am still looking forward to this game. I'm still going to be, playing this game non-stop. And I think it's going to be, the last hurrah for the PlayStation 4. So, what do you guys think of this video? Please like and subscribe. Let me know what your thoughts are on this game. I really do want to know because, we as a YouTube, we as gaming community, we have to band together and we have to discuss these issues. Please like and subscribe, as I've already said. I'm a small channel, so I appreciate any help I get. And that's it for this one, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out.